Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host, and my associate host is John Leuenberger. He is with me also today. We've got so much on the table today that, by George, it's hard to even keep notes and even try to basically reference to notes, or having a viewership piece that we can basically, a reader board of some sort. You know, in the Voters Digest, we're on top of this, and we just basically pick and choose the issues because that's what it's all about, and we want to make sure that it talks to the people. That's it. Oregon Voters Digest. It's talking to the people, and as you know, we just recently had the outcome of the presidential election, and that's a very key piece. And it's my understanding that the Democratic Party are reorganizing now. They picked up their leadership. I saw a quick news brief talking to the fact that that they're picking new leadership now. They're picking new leadership for the Democratic Party, which was very, very interesting. We can probably even comment on that particular big piece.
Yeah.
In fact, if you want to throw in, but basically the point I'm making is that I didn't get specifically who was going to be the new leadership of the Democratic Party, but I noticed that Black Americans were very, very much involved in the process, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happened. And it's my understanding that the Trump, when Trump campaigned, and even after the campaign, he indicated that many blacks had voted for him.
It looks like I just pulled it up on my iPad right here.
Who is it?
They just voted for new leadership, and they chose Minnesota's Ken Martin as the chair.
Ken Martin.
The DNC.
Ken Martin. He's the chair of the DNC.
They just voted.
Do you have a photo?
I don't have a photo, but Ken Martin is now the DNC chair as of today.
Oh, okay.
He's from Minnesota.
And what does he do? What's his background?
I'm pulling him up.
There he is. You got a photo, I think.
Yeah.
That's Ken.
That's Ken right there.
John is our fact checker, by the way.
I'm the fact checker.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. Let's see.
That I don't know. I don't know much about Ken Martin. They were looking for a new leader, and I guess he's been involved in Minnesota for. It says he's been at the top of Minnesota's Democratic Party for 14 years.
Mm-hmm. You had a photo, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'll be right up front with you. I'm just wondering what the guy.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
What culture is he? This is what
he's a white guy.
Oh, he's a white guy. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Ken Martin. That's
Sorry, we can't show the viewership, but you can look it up on your computers, and
That's great. Well, look, I'm just gonna make a little reference real quick, like to our backup mayor for the city of Portland, who we're going to be talking to in the next 30 minutes or so. I'd like for him to just go in the back of the studio and tell the guys to get your name and stuff, so we'll be prepared. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, just check him out. Tell him to put your name on the reader board. So for when we break for that, after we get through talking for 30 minutes, you're going to be coming on, right? Okay. And giving us an update on what's going on in the city of Portland. Mm-hmm. Again, this is community television, folks. It's people this, so consequently, we get right down to the facts. McCallahan ran for mayor.
Yep.
And he will be basically giving us an update, kind of getting us feel for one. What did he feel about the selection process?
Well, let's talk a little bit. So it's been a little bit since we've been on, right?
Yes.
So since our last episode, and we didn't really touch on it. We previously recorded.
Yes.
President Trump, gave his inaugural address, and he promised to issue in the golden age of America.
Yes,
did he not?
Yes, he did. Yes,
during his inaugural address. and he made some pretty blatant comments in front of previous leadership. He addressed
issues.
Issues.
He made comments about issues.
He made comments about issues. He addressed each of the previous presidents and the previous vice president, named each one of them, and he told them that in no uncertain terms that they had failed America, and that he was going to issue
that was his
the
platform.
golden age of America.
That's right. Yep.
And that under their failed leadership, that they had allowed a lot of problems to occur to our country, and that through his leadership, he planned to right the ship. So it was pretty fascinating to see that. President Trump, let's hope he can follow through with the many promises that he made.
Well, solutions to the issues that he brought on the table.
On his promises to working out the problems with illegal immigration that we saw with the previous administration, ICE has gone through and started deporting or arresting some of the worst criminals. Now there have been people on the opposition who are pretty upset about ICE's involvement in arresting and deporting these illegal immigrants. However, ICE has been very vocal, and they have stated that they are only going after the rapists, the murderers, those people who have committed heinous crimes. And they're targeting those individuals first, getting the worst out first, and then they will focus on others after that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, good point. Well, on that same point about ICE, ICE was always kind of like the word that really disrupt folks, and people just get in a whole different mindset, in a negative way, and not really dealing with the issue per se. Well, I noticed on the news that there's still a lot of folks that are coming to the border, but they're being stopped.
They are.
They're being stopped in Mexico.
Border crossings has gone down significantly.
Yes, but what they've done, they've changed the name. It's not an ICE thing now anymore. He came up with a new name. There's a new name of the entity that's basically dealing with that particular issue. Those folks who are just walking up and say, look, I'm here to go, and they're telling them, no, you got to go here. They put together a program.
Well, I think they reinstated President Trump's stay in Mexico policy.
Yeah, but they named it, just like an ICE. They're calling it a certain, they've branded it, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Branded what they were doing. And what I'm feeling is that he's basically doing things on anything that they're doing as far as the solution and trying. This is my mindset. It was good because to a certain degree, it's getting away from giving folks an opportunity to opt out and criticize it and not give it the opportunity to deal with the solution of the issue. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Okay, got me?
Yeah. Well, I know that they also shut down the app that was allowing people to, before they even got to the border, start seeking asylum. Yes. They shut down that app.
Good.
As well as the.
And when you say the app
there was an app on the App Store, either Google or Apple, that allowed asylum seekers to start applying for asylum before they got to the Mexican-American border, and allowed them to start the process of seeking asylum before they started the approach. The app stopped as soon as President Trump got into office and signed the executive order to stop that. And also there has been some news about people in Mexico who have been seeing the effects of illegal immigration from people in other Latin American countries coming up into Mexico, how it's disrupted their way of lives in Mexico, and they're seeking some sort of help from President Trump.
Right. Well, there's a new president now in Mexico. So
they want his help, President Trump's help, to alleviate some of the stress that's causing problems on the southern side of the border, We'll see what President Trump can do. He can't really do anything. It's not.
Well,
Mexico's not our country.
But he's still trying to solve the solution. If it's part of the solution process, he's willing. But as you know, he just slapped a tariff on both Mexico, Canada.
Well, but I heard that
China.
they delayed that tariff. I thought there was a news article that they were going to delay it to March 1st.
They right back to the table again.
Okay, well.
Okay. So I'm just saying he's still working on his solutions. That he's got there's the legal aspect of it, and then there's the economic side of it. The impact that it has on the funding piece, impacting
the pocketbook.
The pocketbook, I mean, that type of deal. So that's an interesting piece, got me. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So that's one point. All due respect, maybe at this point in time would be a good idea to just to pay some respect to those individuals.
Yes, we forgot to do that at the top of the show.
At the top of the show aspect of it. And why don't we take a minute, if you will, to talk to that. I mean, reflect the fact that these folks were killed. Some 60 or 60 some odd people. Or
there were 60 passengers and 4 flight crew in the jet, and 3 Army personnel in the Black Hawk. So about 67 personnel total
about 70 people,
that lost their lives in that fatal crash in Maryland area.
Okay.
So our thoughts and prayers.
Right. Let's take a moment of silence just for them at this point in time, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to be very interesting. That was the total Olympic team.
I think there were some skating. They were flying back from Kansas. There were some skating personalities. It wasn't just the Americans. There were some Russians as well on that flight. It was a very traumatic experience. More details to follow.
Yeah, we'll later on we'll probably get the total photo in regards to what happened. They got the black boxes on.
From what President Trump and others from his administration have said, it was something that probably should have been preventable.
Yep.
So I hope now that they have been able to recover the black boxes,
right.
Hopefully they'll be able to get as much information as possible and be able to provide what information is available that isn't totally sensitive.
No reoccurrence. That's the whole idea.
So that there's no reoccurring of this.
And that's good. And he was on top of it, right at the beginning, at the top of it, which I thought was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was good. And just reacting to this piece. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see just what he's doing. And then, in fact, in all due respect, we'll be commenting, and that's how we're going to tell the viewing audience. That's the thing we're going to do, and we're going to open up with the shows. Every show we do, we're going to open up with reference to an update on his presidency and where is he on the issues.
Well, there are some very important Senate hearing confirmations as well.
Yep.
Pete Hegseth was confirmed.
Yep.
Pam Bondi was confirmed. We have yet to hear the confirmation of RFK Jr., of Kash Patel or Tulsi Gabbard. Those confirmation hearings were contentious at times. Very pointed questions were asked by both sides, and we'll see what happens in those political appointees. I hope that all of the picks that President Trump appointed, that they all get passed through the Senate hearing process. I don't know. It seems pretty pointed that some people on one side are very opposed to some of these picks.
With all due respect, as far as I'm concerned, the cabinet is already operating. I mean, he's got platform for each of the selectees. Okay, and I'm just straight up. Okay, a good for instance of that is that the whole issue with the FBI. with Patel.
Cash Patel is a fantastic pick.
But at the same time, but my point is that is as if to say he's already acting already, meaning that remember he said they've identified about 100 FBI agents that basically went to Mar-a-Lago. Remember that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Basically, what he's saying is that he wants them to identify the FBI agents that went and ransacked his place. And ransacked his place, about 100 of them, and he's telling them, "Why don't you just go on and resign by a certain time?"
But he also wants to. He's not going to do any retaliation. But he promised to do that in his confirmation hearing.
Right.
No retaliation against anyone, and that he would do everything that is constitutional and lawful. Right. His answers were very. He's a lawyer.
But he made the point.
He's a lawyer, right? He's a lawyer. He was very careful with his answers.
But he made the point as a layperson, hey, he's getting ready to get...
But he was very careful with how he answered those senators.
I'm agreeing with you.
He was very careful, and when he got asked a question, he said he would do things that were lawful and constitutional.
And it's the appointees who are basically going to have to react to that piece.
Right, and he
it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
Well, but he made pointed comments saying that there are so many hundreds of thousands of crimes being committed in this country that need to be taken care of, that he needs to focus on as FBI director. I hope he does that. And he said that a third of the FBI agents are operating out of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I think one of the senators hopes that they can divert some of those people out of Washington, D.C. and focus them outside into the rest of the United States, so that some of these crimes are being taken care of outside of Washington, D.C. instead of being, why do they need a third of the agents being taken care of in Washington, D.C.? There's no need for it.
Well, what's again, a thing that I liked about what's happening right now is because too often we don't get into those private meetings.
No.
But now, as a result of him being there, and he just goes right up front, openly, and shared with the public at large. So the discussion's already happening now. You see what I'm saying? So by the time these folks get elected, they're busy working right now. They're busy working right now. Every person who's either appointed or not appointed, he's having a cabinet meeting with them now. As far as the issues are concerned.
I know President Trump has met with Kash Patel. They're obviously he's not appointed, so he can't have meetings on a cabinet level with him yet.
As a layperson, if you're talking, as a layperson, okay, you get together, you talk with them about issues.
Prior to the administration's starting, yes.
But at the same time, he's going to talk to these issues because he's not going to select, he's going to vet these people right up front.
Right.
If they can't identify with the solution, in many ways, he's going to throw something on the table and say, look, these are the things that I'm saying that I'm going to do, okay, that we're going to correct. And he throws that on the table. If they don't agree with it, hey, next. I mean, just as a layperson. That's the way you do it. So I like that kind of I think that's a good thing for the public at large. Because it is still a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yeah.
And too often we're not part of those meetings.
Right.
Putting that together. And so that was kind of a neat way of saying that as he was running for office, he specifically identified what issues he was going to focus on. I mean, you'll always get other issues because we got 50-odd states in the union, if you will, and everybody have different issues and stuff. But he hit some major issues, and he basically said, these are the major issues that I'm going to address, and that became his campaign.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And so that's a good thing.
Well, and I for one am very grateful that Robert F. Kennedy is hopefully going to be a part of his cabinet.
Yeah, he will.
I think that Mr. Kennedy has brought up some very important concerns with relation to the health of our nation. As someone who has a chronic illness, as someone who has suffered from chronic illness, I know that there's something wrong with the health system in this country. Yeah. We're the wealthiest nation, or we profess to be the wealthiest nation in the world. Yeah. And yet we have some of the worst spending on health care in the world. And we have some of the worst health in the world. We have some of the worst life expectancy in the world for being one of the wealthiest countries in the world. There's something wrong with that.
And then the cost is another issue that comes along with that.
Yeah.
The cost, you know what I'm saying?
The cost. If you're too sick to go to work, then that causes problems for the worker. That causes problems for the corporation that they work for. That causes problems for, you know, who's picking up the bill for that person going to the doctor. Is it the corporation? Medication.
Big time.
Medications are expensive.
Yes.
That was a problem that was brought up during that confirmation. Who's picking up the cost? And that is something that Robert Kennedy brought up during his hearing. Is previous HHS directors have said, who's going to pick up the cost? Is it going to be the person? Is it going to be the government? Is it going to be the corporations? Is it going to be the insurance companies? He's trying to find the root cause of what's making us unhealthy. What is it?
But again, that would not be even discussed had it not been for the entity of the person sitting in that presidential seat to bring it to the table, if you will, and say, we will focus on this. Got me? So that, in all due respect, it's the people. The person who sits in that chair of presidency represents the people. And the way we identify with it from the standpoint of the voting aspect of it, by voting someone in that seat, but based on what they are going to do.
President Trump has made promises that we're gonna make people healthy again.
So it's the seat, and he just happens to be Donald Trump. Got me? And then he basically said, I'm going to get a cabinet person to address this is the person that's going to be responsible, that's going to carry the ball.
Yes.
And Kennedy, in this particular case, he basically picked him. He interviewed a number of people. See, you got me? So it's not a Kennedy's idea, so to speak, is that they came up with some of these issues to build his platform. Then he went out and tried to find the people, and he talked to the people about it, and looking at like for instance, the cost of medication. That's huge. Okay, and he said, look, it was an issue was there before he got there, before he ran, and he said that is a major issue that the people say is an issue, and he said that became part of the platform that he ran on. See, so that's good. I mean, and I'm making these points. The fact that we've not been involved as much as we should be. The people have not been involved in the process.
And I don't agree with Senator Bernie Sanders on a lot of things. Yeah. But he is right that the cost of medications needs to be equalized. We need to be paying similar prices with what other countries are paying for medications. So why are we paying more for medication when Europeans are paying less for the same medication? We need to be paying the same as what Europeans are paying. It shouldn't be we're bearing the greatest cost to that medication.
And how long has he been sitting in that seat?
He's been sitting in that seat for a long time.
And was that part of a platform that he had when he ran for office?
Bernie Sanders. There's a lot of problems with Bernie Sanders, but he has been saying this thing about we need universal health care. We need universal health care. Okay, well, why hasn't it come to fruition in the decades of service that you've been in office?
He had the ball, but he couldn't. He couldn't get across the line.
And Robert Kennedy did bring up that he has been contributed to from pharmaceutical companies. His campaigns, he's been donated to by pharmaceutical companies, and Bernie Sanders made a big hubbub about that. A lot of the people that were opposing Robert Kennedy during his confirmation hearing a lot of their contributions were given to them by pharmaceutical companies, which goes to show, or at least in my mind, being a person who has critical thinking, who's really behind the opposition? Is it the person that's sitting there, the senator, using critical thinking and saying, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about? Or is it the pharmaceutical company who's telling them, you better oppose this person because we don't like what he's saying?
And they do that through the lobbyists.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Not the people,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not the people. Now the people are going to be speaking, and hopefully that's I'm basically saying that that's now President Trump, who was elected to that seat. Okay, and that seat basically is we're looking for someone to carry that water, to deal with that issue across the board. They have the issue. You got me? And hey, there were two entities that were running for president at the time, both of them, right? You got me? And when that issue came up, it seems as though at the end of the day, the public picked somebody.
They did.
And they picked him.
Yep.
So let's run with it. Let's not get into the personal game again. We've gone through that personal game through his first election.
Yeah.
That first one. It's not about personal. Now it's about the issues. Because when he's bringing up the issues today, right now, I mean just publicly, and he's telling the whole world, and it's impacting a number of nations all over the place. Maybe ones who might be producing the pills or this or that, and he say, hey, you can't, we're not going to do it like this anymore. I'm going to vet you. And this is basically what we're looking at as far as the outcome. Now that's it. And that's pretty heavy. People still don't realize that. We haven't seen it yet. Those folks won't react. It's going to be interesting to see how they react to what the changes that he's asking to do. Straight up, across everything.
Yep.
Got me? So it's going to be neat that we're involved. We're right there at the front of the line. Someone's coming to us now and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for it. And I'm going to make it as visual as possible. I'm going to use that news media the way they did me, trying to expose me about my personal issues, going to my house and doing this, trying to put me in jail, all this kind of good thing. Hey, that's not the issue. It's the issues that we're talking about that we gave him, or put on the table for whoever to run for that office aspect of it. That's the game. That's the lay of the land. Fair? Okay, good. Let's see. Where's our mayor? Where's our mayor? Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor? Is he here? Or is he talking to someone? Can we get him? Up there? Is he there? Where's the mayor?
We got Mike in here.
Okay, good. Steve. Okay, good. This is community television, folks. We just so happen we want to spend the rest of this time just kind of chatting with the guy who ran for mayor, and he happens to be homeless. He's been homeless, very articulate, and so we're just going to go on and slip a chair in real quick, like, and it's okay. Come on, Steve. Okay, good. Yeah, just bring him in. Really tell it. Thanks, Steve. How you doing? Yeah. Bring the mayor. Yeah, bring the mayor in. We'll tell him to grab. We'll try. See, he's the one that he should have won. Get your chair in here. See, the mayor, look at that. He even works with us. Thanks, Steve. Okay. Appreciate it, buddy. Yep. We're just gonna slip him in, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good.
Move the sign back and you can sit and write at that spot.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Got it? Yeah, there you go.
That worked.
That okay, Steve?
As long as you guys don't move your chairs, we
okay,
should
good.
I'll do some adjustments.
Sounds good. Okay, good. Sounds good. Okay.
There we go.
We got it. You got it.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mayor?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Well, in all due respect, this is community television, and the fact of the matter is, we want to make sure that we want to address the issues of the upcoming new system that we have here.
Yeah.
And you ran for mayor.
There you go.
You ran for mayor, and we got a new group, if you will.
Yep.
Got me? And so we want to make sure that this transition period is going to make some sense. And it's going to be interesting to hear your comments about your time while you were running. We're talk a little bit about that, and then basically what you felt about the outcome, and how it was sent to the people, which was a very interesting aspect of it, and what you feel are still lacking, because the definition of the mayor under the old system had some sense of control.
Sure.
Because it was 5 people totally, and normally he'll pretty well vet out at least 2 people with himself, so he got majority vote.
Yep.
And he always brought the issue on the table and said, okay, and selected the solution to the problem. You know what I mean? But under this particular program, he just gets a check for some particular issue, okay? And then, but at the same time, all the commissioners, now, we're talking about 36, was it 36, 20, 3 4s or 12, right? We got 12.
12
We got
city councilors.
We got 12
yes.
city councilors, and they will be basically, supposedly, picking up the issue,
That.
and then they will vote on the issue. And the only time the new mayor will come in is that if there's a tie.
Right.
I do not see no tie with this group of folks. Not that many people. You got my point? Gonna be interesting. So anyway, I just want to just throw. I did a little quick introduction piece. There's a lot more to you that they need to know, but you're going to be coming on periodically.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we keep track of what's going on, and we will invite the other mayor if he opts to come. He hasn't reached out yet, but Keith's a good person. You know, he's a businessman and this, that, and the other, and he won. He ran once before, but he didn't get elected.
Yep.
Okay, but in this new system of government, which is another interesting thing that John, we've talked about this aspect of it, you know. And if you had a few dollars, you could actually hire someone to basically get you the crowd to get there.
Yep.
And I'm questioning whether or not these folks are going to appear with us. John and I, we're going to try to reach out to these folks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because it's the people. It's still supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Really?
That's why we got you here. We got you here. So with that, why don't we just go on and start chatting with you? We got a good 25 minutes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and let's talk.
Michael O'Callahan's the name, you know, and like you mentioned, ran for mayor. And one of the things that's pulled out of that we're doing right now, I've done a lot of advocacy, and it's frustrating for me being an advocate that you have to raise a group around an issue, and then the issue gets resolved or it doesn't, and then the group dissipates and another issue comes up, and you got to raise up another group in order to advocate for that issue. So I want to win the war. Okay, so on my platform there was a thing called Portland People Polling, which now we have created a website under construction, should be done in another week, called PD Express.
PD Express, okay.
Yep, pdexpress.com. You go on there, and what the idea is that you live in Portland, you register, say you live in Portland, okay, and ideas are vetted. And you can like ideas or dislike ideas, and then there'll be an area where you can discuss the ideas, the advantages, disadvantages, and once they get a certain percentage of likes, then it'll go for what we call a polling. Okay, not voting, which is a very elaborate process, very complicated and subject to manipulation. Okay, so you go on, and when you're notified that there's a polling, you have a week to respond to the polling. And what we look for in the polling, first of all, you can vote 1 for yes, 2 for no, and 3 for I want to make this happen. So if it passes by 65% or more, whoever pushed the 3 button is notified of a meeting at a time and a place. Okay, you guys get together, you figure it out. Next issue. Okay, we'll pull up another issue. And if it passes, the idea is to set up a platform where people can advocate for popular ideas. You know, and that isn't available now. So kind of a couple of ideas I personally have that I want to put on there, that one of them that I think will get 100%, okay, is I think it should be illegal to throw out packaged dated food. Okay, right now it all goes in the garbage. Nothing wrong with it. It's just best used by. Okay, make it illegal to throw it out. Okay, we've fed 1 million meals with a stroke of a pen. Okay, I think a lot of people like that idea, and I want to get together with those people. And here's a couple of things I hope will happen. We'll see how this progresses, because we're just making it all up. Okay, is that if we have a few of these meetings, the rowdies, the advocates, the actives will get to know each other. Community, strong community, very strong community. And after a while, the bureaucrats will get softened. Okay, we hit them up about 5 or 6 times of these popular ideas that get implemented, and it passes in a polling. They're going to go, uh-oh, they're coming for us. You know, so let's get ready.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, on that particular note, as you note, we've got this group already pretty well elected, appointed, so to speak. They're sitting in these seats, okay? And specifically, the mayor's task right now, his platform, is the homeless. And you know, and the reason, another reason why we wanted you to speak to this issue and actually highlight you and talk to you about about where you've been, but you've got a pass.
Oh yeah,
that talks specifically to the homeless issues. Okay?
I live it.
You live it, and you're living it now.
That's right.
And I don't know if anybody that's elected today has your background in that arena.
Oh, no.
And I could tell you stories about this man in terms of things that he has been doing, but we want to get down to the goodies, right down to the meat, about the homeless piece. Because as you know, what do you think? Let's just jump right in it. Keith Wilson is now the new mayor of the city of Portland.
Yep.
Okay. And his major platform is the homeless piece.
I see it.
I'm sure you heard basically what his plans were, right?
That's right.
Let's talk about the plan.
Well, okay, here's the first thing, okay?
John, did you want to, was there anything on that piece you want
to? Yeah, lay in there.
I mean, I listened to an OPB news today, actually, about the plan that he put forth, that he has a $28 million plan to open up just night shelters and not a 24-hour shelter, but it would be the same price to open up a 24-hour shelter as it would to open up just a night and a day shelter. So I don't know what the thinking is there with just having night shelters and opening, and his plan to have a $28 million plan when they're already $100 million deficit for this upcoming year. Where's the money coming from?
Well, see, I wanted John to get in it because he was basically representing the people, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
In terms of how he was being presented from the media standpoint, right? And to a certain degree, some of them didn't like it.
Yeah. Solid question. You know, hey, where's the money coming from?
Let's talk about it. Give me a little background, one, about what was your idea about homeless.
Well, you know, I helped start Right to Dream. I don't know if you remember it. It was down Fort on Burnside. Okay, it's still going on, and I got to do a tour of it while I was running. I called them up. Yeah, sure, come on over. Right now, they're over by the Moda Center now, and they have 16 small 8x8s, which is what I'm living in, something like that, 8 foot by 8 foot, and 16 people live in those.
You put that program together. You wrote that program?
Yeah, well, I started the 501c3. I was their treasurer for a while and got to live there, see how it worked. And it is, right now, like I say, it's moved over to the Moda Center, and they have 16 people living on site. And for the right to live on the site, they take care of all the people that sleep there every night. They have 70 people that sleep there. I think you can't check in until 7 o'clock. And then you have to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around those hours.
That's existing now.
Now, they have 70 people a night that sleep there.
And it's rotating.
Yeah, well, it's what, you know, first one sign up,
first come, first serve. And you can sign up anytime before, I think it's like 5 o'clock, and so then you got to wait till 7 to check in. So, but they do that without government funding. Okay, now, wow, okay, you know, so here's an example, you know, that they obviously haven't looked at, and to his credit, I've got a meeting with one of his top men on Tuesday.
All right, the mayor.
Okay, the mayor's,
good.
So, you know, to give him some ideas, and my basic idea. This is a very complicated thing here, okay? We're mixing two things. We're mixing housing and we're mixing unhoused, okay? I need to separate those two from myself, okay? Now, for the housing, which we're obviously way short on housing, and it's very expensive to build, and it takes time to do it, all this, okay? One, I have 6 housing solutions, okay? My most popular was let people rent out their garages. No cost, really. Well, I mean, you got to set up a program, you know, and you give people a permit for 1 year. Okay, and my mother made money in real estate, and I managed her properties for a period of time. So I understand the point of view of people who rent.
Right.
Getting somebody in there that you don't want in there isn't good. Okay, so how I have taken care of that is if there's any conflict that can't be resolved, then the permit gets pulled. Okay.
Fair enough.
End of story. Don't need to go to court. Don't need to. But anyway, a few restrictions. Number one, you can't have cars. Okay. Number two, the landlord has to provide a smoke detector. You know, has to provide access to water, sewer, and garbage. You know, and can't charge more than their annual property taxes. So in effect, if you empty your garage, you can rent it out, and they will pay your property taxes.
There you go. I got you. Very simple. Yeah.
For a lot of people, property taxes are pretty expensive, man.
Especially now.
$300 a month.
That's right. Yes.
You know, and it's like, geez, man, that's a lot. You know, so if you can be freed of that burden, I think a lot of people will do it. We get 1,000 people to do it. We've got 1,000 more units at a decent price. People that are paying $800 a month can move down into a place that's like $300 a month. You know, and you don't have to provide heat, okay? But then these are rudimentary, but people need shelter, and they need it where it's not really expensive. Okay, that's one of them. Okay, another one, and I'm going to pitch him on this because Keith kind of stepped on his feet.
Well, you're doing it now.
Yeah, okay. he you know, when he told the office workers to come back to work, look. Here's one thing that you should learn, okay? In business, you tell people what to do and they do it. Right? Okay? In government, no.
Well, he had to step that back, didn't he?
Yes.
He had to step it back. They're not coming back to work this year.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why he's coming through. That's why we got him here, John.
You know, the government tells you what to do.
Right.
Okay, and they're the pros. Okay,
Right.
And another thing he needs to learn is he needs to build consensus among the counselors before he advocates for something. Okay,
they're voting on it.
Well, yeah, they're the ones that have the power. You've got the ideas, and if they agree with your ideas, then great, we got a deal going on. Everybody's responsible. But you come up and say, "Hey, we need to do this," and what? You know, add $20 million to $100 million deficit? No, that doesn't work that way.
Well, I think maybe that might have been the deal. I'll tell you what. I'll vote with you guys on raising the budget to give us an extra person.
Yeah. You don't know.
And you guys vote for me for my piece.
Yeah.
Am I right? You see, I'm throwing it on the table just honestly because we're talking from the people's standpoint. They need to know.
Yeah. Okay. And
that's politics.
Another housing solution, and revitalizing downtown.
Okay,
and a very important thing from my perspective. Okay, we need, I don't know if rooming houses, you remember rooming houses here back on Burnside, down on 4th and 3rd and Burnside, you know, where you had to walk down the hall to use the restroom and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, we got a lot of vacant office space. Okay, and we don't want to turn vacant office space into slum housing.
Right.
Okay,
right.
But I want to build I live in alternative housing, like I mentioned, in 8x8. I lived in a 4-foot high, 4 foot high by 4 foot wide by 8 foot long.
You're doing this today?
This was a few years ago. Yeah. 4 foot high, 4 foot wide, 8 foot long. Okay, 3 times I built them and lived in them for years. Okay, so that's adequate. Okay, so you can build a few of those, and like I say, I live in an 8x8. You can build a few of those. You don't have to put in a floor. You don't have to put in a roof. Okay, in the downtown, all you got to do is put up 4 walls. Wow, that's really pretty cheap. Okay, so and you build quads. Groups, 25 or smaller, that are self-governing, you know, and you give a 20% advantage to students. You see where Portland State's building $59 million, I think it was, brand new building for housing. Okay, here we can do this really cheap, man. You guys can have a place to live for 20% off. Anybody that works downtown gets 20% off. Renters cannot have cars. Okay, this will build downtown. Okay, and people that are younger, that are more capable, will downsize their rent and move downtown because this is a good deal. You know, now I don't know what the cost is going to be because you got to get how many square feet and however many people, and you've got to change code. But in an emergency, you can do a lot of things. So that's another housing idea, is to build these things and revitalize downtown while you're building it and give people a place to live. Inexpensive. You know, what would it cost to put up 4 walls?
Interesting.
Yeah, you know, you already got electricity, and you're going to have to expand. All of these office spaces do have restrooms and stuff like that, plumbing. So you have to put in more showers, you have to put in more toilets, you know, you have to make it so that it's usable. But if you're using the same plumbing on the same end, that's pretty cheap. The standard housing, man, one of the codes is you have to have an outside window. Okay? So, geez, you can only put in so many units because you only got so many outside windows. You know, and you have to run water and sewer to all of them.
Yes.
Oh, wow, man, that gets really expensive. So this is an inexpensive solution, and it doesn't have to be permanent, but I think it would be, and I would think that it would change, that pattern would be replicated all over the United States because everybody has the same problem.
And you'd have a motivated person now saying, well, look, I may not want to be in here, but it works now for me. Now I can maybe save a few bucks to buy into those houses next time around.
There you go.
I'm motivated now to get out of that situation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm still making a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're making sure that it's clean and all the other stuff, the crime and all that other stuff.
Right. Well, and it reduces the carbon footprint. The people that work downtown don't have to drive anywhere. The people that are going to Portland State can take the whatever to Portland State or have a bicycle. And it creates community because if you take people out of their cars, it creates community.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, these are some of my pitches. So thanks for the venue.
Well, in all due respect, that's why we have you here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're not trying to be anti-anybody for that matter. You know, Keith had a platform.
Right, yeah.
And he got elected. He ran for office just like you did.
Right.
And you know, we had you here.
Thank
and
you.
You shared a number of those points that you were talking about now, but they didn't pick you. And all due respect, I hate to put it that way, but they picked.
Well, no, hey, you need a bunch of money.
I looked at the interviews that they did, that Channel 2 did, in regards to the mayorship aspect of it, and I said, why would they want to have? Well, I'm not going to. The young lady that ran, she had her own definition aspect of it, but she was invited. And you know, why throw sort of something in a negative way, even from towards a woman, to that matter? That said she was basically, what was it? It was a woman she ran. She was a
stripper.
A stripper. She was a stripper.
Right.
You know, and why would you want to interview a woman in that particular aspect? If she's wanting to run for office, just let her run for office. But why make that point? It's not. I didn't like the idea. I just didn't like the idea. But at the same time,
What, are you anti-stripper?
no, but, no, making money on it.
I don't understand why they put her up against Keith Wilson.
Yes.
Against the other city council members.
Yes. And
why she was the person.
Yes. And here's a man who's got background. You're dealing with homeless, and you've never been in the homeless. You've never lived in homeless aspect. And not any one of those, including the announcer, they've never lived in those kinds of conditions aspect of it. And you know, again, like you were making the point about young people going to Portland States and whatever. I remember going to school myself and whatever. You know, I just want to just exist and going to class and riding the bike and all that kind of good stuff, routine, and it fits. Just common sense stuff. And these folks have not gotten to the point where they want a $300,000 or $400,000 house. They just want to get to the books and go to the professor, pass the class, next. But on graduation day, got me? Now I'm looking for a job to be able to afford that home. See, so it made some sense, and I really appreciate the fact that you're going to be here. But we're going to have you here, and hopefully Keith will hear where you're coming from, and he may want to go on and adopt some of your ideas.
Sure.
Or better yet, he needs to hire you.
Oh, yeah, well.
I know it's going to be a hard thing. I know it's going to be kind of a, but he should hire you.
Yeah, well,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
because that way he has some sense of idea.
Accomplishment.
Well, no, but then you can get before that group who has to vote on this issue, and you can tell them your story.
Yep. And here's one of my unhoused. Okay, that's a housing thing.
Yes.
Okay, for unhoused. Well, when we started Right to Dream, there was 5 of us that started it, and somebody gave us a lease for $1, so we were able to move on their property, and we just moved on their property. I was able to bring 3 pickup loads of plywood there, and we set it out, and all these people just came and filled up that day. You know,
Wow,
these
really?
are people we didn't really know, you know. And so, okay, yeah, you can have here's your space here, you know, and got it laid out, you know. And here's the one thing that impressed me the most about that, and human behavior. We had weekly meetings, mandatory you show up, and of course there were issues. And one kind of side thing is everybody had to go through nonviolent communication training. Important. Social skills are not predominant among the unhoused. Okay. So anyway, we had meetings and there were conflicts, and we had the opportunity to kick somebody out. They would never vote to kick anybody out. 3 times it came up while I was there for 3 months. And the coolest thing is the behavior would change. Okay? And that's what everybody's looking for.
Yes.
Oh, you change your behavior, we're going to put you in jail. You change your behavior, we're going to do this, or you're going to do... It doesn't work. To stay in the tribe, people will do whatever they need to do because they're safe in the tribe. And if you're out, you're not. Okay, so everybody in the bureaucracy misses that aspect because they haven't had an adverse lifestyle. They've been protected. You know, we all pretty much have been protected all of our life. And if we get in trouble, we have family members or we have friends we can go to or whatever. You know, when you're in unhoused, you don't have that kind of backup.
Hey, we got about 5 minutes left. Hey, Steve, would you mind putting his name on the deal and also how to contact him? You got a phone number or something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and put his phone number there so that people could see from the show here how to contact him. The media could contact you and to basically share his story with the rest of the folks, with the rest of the people, if you will.
Okay, let me loop that up here, right here.
Yeah,
for
go on.
So what my proposal is camps voluntarily run, okay, independently run of 25 or smaller, where everybody has nonviolence training, and we set up a place for them to set up a camp, and they have a community agreement, okay, and they have an agreement for all the volunteers, you know, all the people that live there, you know, and they're self-governing.
Great.
Okay, and that, to me, that will work for a lot of the unhoused. It's not going to solve the problem because it's a complex problem. And that's, you know, but it's one of the solutions.
I got you.
You know, and to me, shelters, I've never stayed in a shelter. I don't want to stay in a shelter, you know.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
Better than nothing.
We're going to have you on again.
Okay.
Bottom line, put this down. John and I'll kind of chat a little bit.
Okay, there you go.
Getting the close. You print it down real good for you. So I want to make sure he has enough time to put that up there for you. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure you do that real good for him. Okay, good. All right. While you're doing that, John, what do you think so far?
I think these are great proposals. I think if we can get this going, it sounds like it's been successful without government intervention. So if we can get maybe just a little bit of government intervention or government funding to help kind of get these programs started, and then also get some community involvement, then we might not need as much government funding and government involvement.
Okay.
which would be helpful.
Yeah.
If we can get the community involved, if we can get the community supporting our people.
What?
Oh,
Put your name down there.
If we can get the community involved
Print
and
out
the
real
community helping, then there's less need for the government to step in and to help. Right?
Oh yeah. But we're gonna be kind of unique here in this particular situation. Often, people hear ideas from something and then they try to interpret it. So you should have the original person communicating the piece and sharing with the public as a whole. See, and that's what we're going to do. So basically, in all due respect, we're going to be doing another show here, so the next show, we're going to have him on at the beginning because we're going to be talking about the city issue again to a certain degree. So to the viewing public, we got about 3 minutes left. We're gonna get the information to you on him. If we don't get it on between now and the time we close this particular show, we're going to bring him back and we're going to continue the conversation.
Yeah, well, MayorMikeOC.com is my mayor's internet site, and it's still up there.
Well, you're going to be sharing. We're going to share that next time in full.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to take some time out because we got about 3 minutes. You know what I mean?
All right.
But I'm sure this is just an introduction, so to speak. But sure, we're going to bring him back, folks. He's going to be on our next show. This particular show is going to be on this Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's going to be on Sunday, and we do a little introduction piece, so we're going to basically do the same thing. We talk about the national stuff and trying to see if we can. But still, I'm still saying, see, we want to focus on Portland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And from the national standpoint, that's constantly changing. And John and I are very so we always give a little update on what's happening nationally. You see, you got my point, and we couple it with our issues here. You know my point? And then the idea people can go to YouTube and get this information and look at it.
Right.
And then they'll have the information to call you directly, not just basically get our views. We represent the public. We're representing the people, so to speak. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to resolve the problems too. We're part of the whole team. See, you got my point?
Go.
It's impacting the public. And we're trying to get some solution. And there's all kinds of issues that's happening. There's a lot of things going on the table from a national perspective, from a state perspective. I mean, everybody, you got counties, you got states, you got all kinds of folks trying to resolve their issues. We want to be very specific about our issue. It's called Portland, Oregon. Got me?
That's
We'll even invite the former mayor Wheeler. And give him some credit, because the bottom line, I mean, he needs to he wants to try to transition back in his way. I want him to get back to his family, with his family. He'll be a person again. You know my point? But unfortunately, let's not blame him for the negative. Let's just say we got to move on.
That's right.
To deal with. So that we have you here, and hopefully that's okay with you. We're gonna call you up, and we're gonna just go on and do another show with you. Is that fair with you? Okay, good. John, what do you think?
I think this is good.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So with that, folks, we got about another about a half a minute, about 30 seconds or so, and we're gonna go on and close up, and we'll pick up any other pieces and just continue this conversation that we're having here. And like I said, we're not trying to make a joke, if you will, of the new group, if you will, and whatever. But we know who they are, and we want to help them out. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a tough time. These folks are it's all like they're all in boot camp, so to speak.
Sure.
And the public is saying, look, I want my issues solved now. We got crime issues, we got homeless issues, we got mental issues. We are a passionate group of folks, if you will, and we want to get something done. Is that okay with you, John?
That's okay.
Okay, let's shake some hands. We got
there we go.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor,
John,
Mr. Mayor.
pleasure.
Okay,
Pleasure.
Take care, folks. We'll see you next week. Now you sit right there.